Data privacy is so key with this Windows 11, and more people are taking note of this. We're going to take a bit more time looking into what this recall information and data privacy looks like, because on the 7th of June, Microsoft gave us more information. Now, if you've already seen my previous video, you would have learned a little bit more around that data privacy kind of side of things. But now we've got even more detail for Microsoft. And I felt it was really important that we do a follow-up video around what Microsoft are now saying, how they're improving these preview features, so when it becomes generally available to those Copilot Plus PCs, you've got the knowledge and the understanding around how this privacy works, how the encryption is working, and how the AI is working all together to build Windows Recall. So let's take a look. As you can see here, we've got some information around the update around the Windows Recall. This was uploaded onto the Windows blog, and specifically the Windows Experiences blog that they got up on there on the Microsoft websites. Quite a bit of information on here around actually how it works, how we're introducing Copilot PCs. As you kind of see here, was originally announced on May the 20th, what that does and what Recall is actually going to go off and do. So jumping down a little bit, there's a few things I want to kind of point out within this article, which I think are the really key things around this data privacy kind of side of things. As it says here, as AI becomes more prevalent and we are re-architecting Windows to give customers and developers more choice to leverage both the cloud and the power of local processing on devices made possible by the Neuro Processing Unit, that's exactly what these Copilot PCs are, this MPU chip going inside of them. This distributed computing models offers choice for both privacy and security. All of this will continue to be guided by our Secure Future initiative. Now, I think it's important, we're going to have a look at what this SFI is a little bit later on, but it's about this secure by design, secure by default, and it's a principle that Microsoft are now delivering as part of their applications moving forwards. So it has been considered the security first around this. So first thing is that they've gone off and they've listened and they've said, listening to and acting on customer feedback. So this is why this has kind of come out, and this is why I wanted to be able to bring this out. So this video is coming out on the 13th of June. So Copilot PCs are starting to come out on the 18th. So we're only a few days away before actually people start to get their hand on this properly. So the first thing to kind of point out, and they said this first, we are updating the setup experience of Copilot Plus PCs to give people a clear choice to opt in to saving snapshots using Recall. So you have to opt in if you want to have it. And what I like about the next line is, if you don't proactively choose to turn it on, it will be off by default. So you really have got to turn this on if you want to be able to go off and use it. There's an example screenshot around, you know what, do this, no, don't do this. So do you want to save it? Yes, I want to save. No, I don't want to. Second one, if you want to be able to go off and start using Copilot, see the Recall on these Copilot Plus PCs, we've actually got to start looking at actually how the security works. So, as it says here, Windows Hello enrollment is required to enable Recall. So we've got to have Windows Hello enabled. This is with the facial recognition and taking things which are better than that kind of password kind of side of things. Many organizations are looking at kind of this Windows Hello from a kind of security identity kind of side of things. In addition to proof of presence, it's also required to view your timeline and search in Recall. So every time I want to open this application to be able to go off and do the Recall, go off and do a search within it, I've got to re-authenticate using Windows Hello. I like this extra bit of level of authentication to be able to go in and see this information. And third, we are adding additional layers of data protection, including just-in-time decryption protected by Windows Hello. So what does this actually mean? So as it says here, so Recall snapshots will only be decrypted and accessible when the user authenticates. In addition, we encrypt the search index database. You can't just go off and use this. You can't just go in and see all the screenshots they're saved somewhere. No, they're encrypted, and they get decrypted every time that you do that authentication to go into the application. So yes, you've got to authenticate to get into the device. You've got to authenticate to actually see the information. So I like that kind of extra layers of security going through from that point of view. I think it's really important that we also look at what is this in line with Microsoft's SFI principles. So I kind of pulled up Microsoft's article around this, and this was back from May earlier on in the month of when they first announced Copilot. So as you can kind of see, we launched the Secure Future Initiative to prepare for the increasing scale and high stakes of cyber attacks. SFI brings together every part of Microsoft to advance cybersecurity protection across our companies and products. And I think this is great to see from Microsoft in general. We've got so much that's going on in the cyber world. We have to be that extra careful around, cyber, what's going on, and looking after our APIs, our applications, our endpoints, whatever it may well be. We must be thinking about that compliancy level. I'm going to jump down a little bit just to point out what's this expansion of SFI approach and scale. Let's read this out. We have evolved our security approach, and going forward, our work will be guided by the following 3 security principles: secure by design, secure by default, and secure operations. So as we start to look at things, Microsoft are going to think, right, well, security. Security comes first when designing any of our products or services. We can't just go off and build things nowadays. We have to actually be thinking about what is this sense of security and encryption and whatever it needs to be for that particular application. Secure by default. Security protections are enabled and enforced by default. We're seeing that now with this Windows Recall, where you've got to use that Windows Hello to be able to get in and be able to go off and do stuff. And that secure operations, security controls and monitoring will continuously be improved to meet current and future threats. We've seen how Windows now gets updated, can be a weekly, monthly, 6-monthly. These security patches are going on consistently to improve your environment, securing your device and securing your data. So now we know a little bit more about this SFI. Let's go back in and have a look around what the rest of this set of announcements are saying. So we're back in this original article. So just to point out a few things, I'm going to read this out loud. In line with Microsoft's SFI principles below, before the preview release of Recall to customers, we are taking steps to increase data protection. Copilot+PCs will launch with just-in-time decryption protected by Windows Hello Enhanced Sign-in Security. So Recall snaps will only be decrypted and accessible when the user authenticates. That's that bit where we read on earlier on about those 3 principles that they're putting in as part of Recall now, that actually it's only going to get decrypted when you use Windows Hello. So super important part of this. Jumping a little bit further down, we also know that the best way to secure information on a PC is to secure the whole PC itself. And I couldn't agree more with this statement. We are looking at security on the endpoint at all the time. On that device, it should be super important to be able to go off and actually have some kind of levels of security on it. So we should always be doing that. And so they reference back to this secure by design. Copilot PCs have been designed to be secure by default and show additional details about security approaches. And again, Microsoft go off and do this. All Copilot PCs will be secure core PCs. They've got certain type of processors in it and certain chips in it that support this element of hardware-based security as part of things. So it's super important as an organization that we keep these things up to date with the firmware, with what's going on from a Windows kind of side of things. So super important. The Microsoft Fulton security processor will be enabled by default on all Copilot PCs. Fulton is a chip-to-cloud security technology designed by Microsoft and built by Silicon Partners. I think what's really important here is that Microsoft have already clearly said that this data is not going into the cloud. So this is just using kind of the information that they get from the cloud to be able to go off and protect it. So with zero trust principles at the core, this helps protect credentials, identity, personal data, and encryption keys. So this is using the power of the cloud to keep your Windows Hello up to date, keeping your Windows up to date. So not directly pointing at the Windows Recall, but certainly going, you know what, these devices are getting more smarter because we've got this ability to be able to go off to the cloud, learn about these cloud technologies, and send it back to the device and onto the chip to keep things even more secure. And then, as it says here, all Copilot PC plus PCs will ship with the Windows and Hello Enhanced AI, sign in security. My apologies. This provides more secure biometric sign-ins and eliminates the need for a password. So the machine itself is more secure. The hardware on it is making it more secure, which means that any applications that run within it are more secure, which also includes Windows Recall, of course. In the next section of this blog article, it just kind of talks about how some people have been using it within PowerPoint, within Teams, are deleting screenshots, deciding just to use it within the browser to help them with online courses and be able to go back and find material. And I think those are some great examples that you can go off and use. I just want to focus slightly on these, how the snapshots are stored locally, and a few of these other things I've just pointed out here. Copilot plus PCs have powerful AI that works on your device itself. No internet or cloud connections are used to store and process snapshots. That's really important. We're not leaving the device. It's not going to the cloud. It's not training any other models or anything like that. And I want to point out this very last line, which I'm going to just highlight here. Your snapshots are yours, and they are not used to train the AI or Copilot plus PCs. Snapshots are not shared. Recall does not send your snapshots to Microsoft. Snapshots are not shared with any other companies or applications. Recall doesn't share snapshots with other users who are signed into the same device. And per user encryption ensures even administrators cannot view other users' snapshots. The thing that is really super important, something we must remember as part of some of these things. You will know when Recall is taking snapshots. Great, it's going to give you a little bit of an information on down in the bottom right hand corner, and it goes back into this digital rights management and in private browser mode. It's not going to take any information part of that, and you should know from an organizational point of view which applications support digital rights management, what kind of things you're doing with Purview to be able to block certain documents. So if you're having a document and it is down as private and confidential, then you can put certain digital rights management around it. So if somebody tries to take a screenshot of it, whether that is through snipping tools or whether that is through Windows Recall, it's blocked. And as it says here, you can pause, filter, delete, whatever you want at any time. You've got the control. And it's just got a final thing here for enterprise and customer choice. For customers using managed work devices, your IT administrator is provided with the control to disable this. That is super important. If you as an organization choose that you don't want any of your users to be able to use this, you have the control to be able to say disable. Nobody has the choice to be able to turn this on themselves. We've decided to turn this off from a whole organizational kind of side of things. And it just finishes off talking about this trust element. Excited about the Copilot Plus launch, and the device is coming June the 18th. I certainly am looking forward to getting mine later on in the year when they start coming to the UK. But I'm listening to Microsoft privacy, the safety, the security. It's stored on the local device. You can store your files on the local device. This is kind of where the benefit of data actually comes in. So just to conclude this video, you can see that Microsoft are taking this very seriously. You can see certain information. They put it out publicly. They're updating the preview and the application around the fact that we've got more privacy. We're putting more security, and this is how the hardware is doing it. So it's giving you more and more information so you can feel more confident about actually these screenshots being kept on your machine, how they're encrypted, and then you can go off and take advantage of it. I love that example that actually used from an education point of view is that if you're doing some kind of online course and you can't find what you were looking for and that material has now disappeared and it's locked away in some kind of learning management system, where is it? I've got a snapshot and I can go off and I can do a research and I can go off and go and find that information within Windows Recall. After I've done my Windows Hello, it's recognised me. I am that person on that screen. Talked about administrators, and it's also can kind of confirm that, you know what, enterprise organizations can go off and disable this feature across the whole organization should they want to be able to do so. So please do like and subscribe. I would love to hear some feedback. Are you going to turn Windows Recall on? and what you think around these additional changes that Microsoft are bringing to the